Well, hey.
Welcome to the third edition of Our World,
Your World,
and
The World. Starting with Your World.
Yeah.
Or Our World.
Well,
Our World. We're in
here
Gothenburg.
Gothenburg, Nebraska.
I knew that. Batman lives here.
Yeah, well, that's what the joke is. To get to some of your questions, Joel, could you please read?
Yes, this is from _Faith SCCR_. Who is the genius behind all of the stage effects?
It's a little bit of a brain trust. Our brother Daniel is the lighting designer, set designer. Usually after a show, we will have kind of a debrief and we try to see, in small increments, the different things that we could do a little bit better the next day.
I have a story.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Once upon a time, we were starting a song called Fix My Eyes. It was a snare build. You started off, the others were going.
Yep.
And then we have a click track that keeps us all on time.
Yep.
And the click went out. And we all sort of fuddled around and stopped. And it was very awkward, and the audience got awkward. And then all of a sudden the click came back on, and I very heroically yelled, 1, 2, 3, and we just launched straight into the song. And the crowd was like, ah. So ever since then, we have
had a
put
gap.
Pause.
It is amazing.
And that's how
many
most
times mistakes
have happened.
and accidents,
Yeah.
They lead to something.
Question number 2. This is from Key N-I Card. K-A-R-D.
Key. C-N-I.
Key. You're right. Actually, it's not a key, it's a C.
Someone please explain Joel's stage pants. The truth is, I would love to know the answer to this question as well.
Well, if you're hip and cool and fresh and fly.
You wear pajamas on stage.
They're called drop crotch pants. This is from I Am Johnny Tribble.
Pro audio question, editing software and soundboard of choice. Love the vlogs.
Thanks, man. The show last night in Lincoln, Nebraska, we used these very technologically advanced called Digico boards, and it did not perform well last night.
Really
but usually, because what Ralph, our head of sound, does is he multi-tracks every show, and therefore we never, this is lazy man talking,
insane.
We never have to do sound checks.
Virtual sound check.
For production, I use Pro Tools. A lot of the guys use Logic.
Have you guys ever tried rapping? No.
That's from Markle_Raps, who I would assume
is a rapper.
Is
Look,
a rapper.
I've got great respect for people that can rap, but it's hard for me to rhyme songs as it is.
I am actually a rapper.
With your drop crotch.
I was walking down the street just the other day, minding my own business, just trying to find my way, when a man came up and said, out of my way. You know what I did? I just rhymed way with way. I'm afraid, little kid, this ain't your lucky day. And I said, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? Want a piece of me? And I watched him flee. This is from one_Moody_violin. Have either of you accidentally thrown a drumstick or whatnot into the audience? The trouble with deliberately throwing drumsticks in the audience is you could probably stab someone's eye out, and as rock star as it might feel, it ends in a lawsuit.
But she's saying accidentally. Dropping a drumstick when you're playing
You dropped
drums
one last night.
It's embarrassing. Not last night, but maybe the night before.
I think we have footage of this. I have lost my microphone into the audience. I would grab the stand in the middle and I would go like, bam! One night the Velcro was not attached very solidly, and so I went bam on the beat and the mic just went
Yeah, that's not fun.
in the middle of the song.
That's not fun.
Katie Boo, 24. What was your the last book you read and movie you saw?
Last book that I'm still in the process of reading is the Patriots History of the United States of America.
Slide up your geek glasses.
Yeah,
it's bigger than the Bible.
And I'm also reading the Bible as well. So
Jesus Duke.
Yeah.
This last film I saw was The Lion King, which if you remember, if you watched a couple of weeks ago, I said I would give you my synopsis, and here it is. I'd read a lot up about it, so I knew what I was going into. My expectations were pretty set before I went into it, and it met every expectation and exceeded none of them. There's a few key lines in Lion King, like when Simba is in the gorge and Mufasa has just passed on. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, I just blew it. No, they probably don't know.
Yeah.
He dies. Simba is looking for help. Like the wildebeest has just left and he's alone. And somebody in the cartoon, he goes, somebody help! There's like 4 or 5 lines that was so pinnacle that Favreau, I'm sorry, I love you, but you shouldn't have changed the lines. I enjoyed it though. Okay, this is the last question from Bree Hannah, or HNA, dot Fitzel. What happens if you have to sneeze during the show? I'm curious.
I had this happen 2 weeks ago. The problem is the build-up. You don't know when it's gonna happen, and you're like, fix my eyes, Nacho! You know, like over there. So you usually just turn, but it is a little bit of a nervous way of when's it gonna come, what's gonna take place.
Here's the interesting thing though. After like 8 years of performing together, how many times have we actually...
I've done it.
It's actually a weird... You know you can't sneeze. It's like going to the toilet. You know you just can't go to the toilet, so you don't.
Oh, wow. So the world...
We have 3 items.
UPS is testing self-driving trucks. This makes a ton of sense. The amount of people that they are employing just to drive trucks is enormous.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When the trucks get to the location, how do they get the bags?
Well, I think that's probably part of their technology.
My point is, you're probably going to have a employee on the truck, even if it's self-driving anyway. This cracks the lid on a whole nother question though. We're about to move into the era of self-driving transportation. Hundreds and thousands of people in America, if not millions, are professional truck drivers, the taxi cab, Uber, Lyft, you name it. In a decade, you're going to wipe out millions of jobs. So we're very rapidly...
I don't think it's going to happen as quickly as we might think.
Here's the positive. I think in the next decade, I think you're going to be, probably me telling my kids, once upon a time, we drove our own vehicles and you could drive them when you were 16 years old. And my kids are going to say, that is so reckless and dangerous. This is a rabbit hole. Let me slide up my geek glasses. All right, you have self-driving cars. All of a sudden, you're gonna have self-driving areas of the city or freeways that are only gonna be designated self-driving cars. Here's why. Because therefore, ultimately, you're gonna do away with 2 very obnoxious things as far as travel is concerned. Parking spaces. The cars are literally going to drop you somewhere and then they're going to go either do something else, you'll rent out your car, or won't even own a car, you'll just subscribe to a car service. Secondly, the thing you're going to do away with is traffic lights, because all the cars are going to be integrated on a grid. They're going to be like passing each other through which will make commuting much faster.
Well, you're still going to have some lights because you're going to have pedestrians and a lot of locations.
Touche, but like on the major intersections are basically going to go away. And the third, and this is just a bonus round, is I don't think you're actually going to own your cars anymore, because who wants to own a depreciating item? Uber and these companies are going to offer a subscription-based vehicle where you can just summon your car like you already do to an Uber, and it'll show up in 10 minutes, and then you can send your car to your wife or to your kids or to your family or a friend to use. We use our vehicles 3% of the time on average in the United States. That sounds preposterous, but it's true. 97% of the time your car is sitting doing nothing. Therefore, in about a decade, cars are going to become less prevalent because of the auto system of being sent all over the place. They'll be used more often, percentage-wise, and therefore you'll have to have less cars on the road. Moving on to this is an Engadget.com article about someone that they're calling the TV Santa Claus, and it's kind of creepy and it's kind of awesome. I've just
you guys probably know about this. The TV dude comes
gone viral
and delivers old TVs to your doorstep, waves at the camera, and leaves.
Mind you, he has a TV on his head, so we don't know who he is, and he's wearing like a jumpsuit.
It's on the creepy side for sure. He doesn't look like he's advertising, right? I mean, literally, he just wants to be known as the TV man,
Santa Claus. What's crazy? I think he's got a real pitch. My synopsis is he's got a real goal to bring people back in time to like tube TV era.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. Maybe he likes the simpler times. Shifting gears to a bit more of a serious topic. We've mentioned to many of you that Luke and I are citizens. Luke was more diligent than I was. I became a citizen a couple of years ago. We talk about the priceless movement, which is directed at women and at men, but really it's this idea that every human life is priceless. The United States has basically had a shooting every day of the year. We had 3 a few weeks ago.
Was it even 4?
I think it was in the end. One of which was very hard for me because my wife is Hispanic. Her parents were first-generation immigrants from Mexico, and my mother-in-law, who's a wonderful woman, grew up in El Paso. I've visited there numerous times. I actually told my wife I loved her on the way back from an El Paso trip for her grandparents' 50th wedding celebration. In El Paso, there was what has been really dubbed a hate shooting targeting Hispanic people. You've had shootings tied to religious acts. You've had shootings tied to ethnic differences. It brings up this question of where do we go from here? Well, we don't have the answers, but I'm interested to ask you, and I'll even fill in the blank. What does it mean? In a time where we're more connected than ever, seemingly, and yet there's this massive disconnect and kind of aggression towards one another.
I mean, you're talking about one of the more complicated American issues of this century. I do know that when you care for other people and you do what is right by your brother, it breaks down racial tension. It breaks down the desire to go and hurt, the desire to go and hate. And I think the thing that I have just been mindful of in my own life and with our kids is how do you teach and raise and be people that can reach across the aisle in any situation, people that are different for you, that look different from you, and say, hey, your soul, your life matters. We need an epidemic of that. We need an epidemic of people loving each other. I mean, look, like I said, I don't have the answer, but those are the things that I've been thinking about.
Interestingly enough, I go back to when I got sworn in as a citizen, and I've shared this at a few shows lately. One of the things that the judge said to me was, because there was 60 of us in the room, the foundation of America is built on diversity. And he charged us. He said, hey, bring your culture, because this is the beauty of America. This conversation has been, okay, how do we tolerate each other? But my question is there actually another step, not just to sort of be like, okay, well, you see it differently and I see it differently, politically, racially, spiritually, whatever it might be. Is there a way, a place we can get to where we say, hey, that's actually beautiful? The differences that you have and the way you think, maybe I don't agree, maybe I see it completely differently, but look for the beauty. Could we then begin actually going on a search for people that looked and act and think differently from us, rather than just, well, I'm just gonna kind of tolerate and coexist with this. I'm actually gonna like love and be curious and be interested and ask questions, find out what makes them tick. I'm very good at the hard line. Oh, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is righteous, this is evil. I think we all have something to offer in a sense. So, to close up shop,
that concludes our third edition of Our World, Your World, and The World.
This is kind of a collaborative effort. We're looking at your comments, so we're always intrigued to know what you think, and like we said, intrigued to know who you would like us to chat with.
We should have a guest.
We should have a guest or two, or three. Yeah. So hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell if you would like to be pinged anytime we put something up on the YouTube universe.